What's going on, y'all? It's your girl Boost Boswell with the bottom line. Um, Glanville off the Young Thug case. I don't really follow rappers, but I follow politics and I follow what's going on in our communities. Thought I'd come on just to see what your take is. This is from 11alive.com. It says attorneys for Young Thug had argued Judge Glanville should no longer oversee the case because of a June 10th proceeding known as an ex parte meeting. According to court documents on Monday, Judge Ural Glanville has officially been recused from the Young Thug YSL trial, which I think is a good move. What about y'all? On your way in, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up. Got the link posted in the comments section if you want to come on the platform. If not, just hang out in the chat and we can talk there. It says essentially this means Glanville will be removed from the trial. Court documents obtained by um, 11 Alive Now lists Judge Shakira L. Ingram as the judicial officer in the case. I think that it was justified. I think Glanville was too cocky. When you get these high profile cases, um, people that ain't used to the limelight, this is my opinion, um, start to get a sense of arrogancy. And the one thing that I know to be true is when people deal with power, when you are not accustomed or mature enough to handle power, it'll get away from you. And many times it don't end up in your favor because you don't know how to handle it. See, people that aren't emotionally healthy in the mind and sometimes in the heart, they'll take that power and misuse it and create this sense of arrogancy. When you are in a position that's presiding over others, you should always use that very delicately. I see we got a couple people in here. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up on your way in. I was just waiting for Glanville to be removed. You know, have times changed? Absolutely. But what should not change is the respect for certain positions, for certain levels of authority. And we are starting to see time and time again people get in these positions and they ain't managing their level of authority and representing the position as properly as we should. And I ain't just talking about this case. We got it all the way. Y'all see what the highest courts and people of power have done. Cold Pepsi, long time no see. Same to you, my friend. Always good to see you. How you been? I just thought I'd pop on and kind of talk about this Glanville, Judge Glanville case. One of the first things that stood out to me um, when dealing with Glanville is I've never, now again, people, if it's acceptable, that's cool. But I've never seen somebody in a robe that had earrings on. Not a male. I just haven't. That was the first thing that I noticed about him. And being um in positions previously of authority, one of the second things that I noticed dealing with Glanville was after he had that back and forth exchange with the defendant attorney, and then that attorney start following those motions and start holding him up to task. um I seen his arrogancy kind of tone down some. All these, well, thanks for asking. Yes, I've been watching a little. Yeah, I haven't. I just found out. So I was watching a case maybe a week or so ago, and then I fell off. But I was waiting to hear that he had been removed from the case. I hadn't heard anything until a little bit ago, so I thought I'd just go live and see if anybody popped in. I'm not surprised at all. I was expecting that man to be removed. I think he was too arrogant. I think sometimes we can let our egos get in the way and our arrogancy um, kind of. taint our level of professionalism, and it don't never turn out right. Yes, I've never seen anything. Listen, Pepsi, I ain't never seen nothing like it in my life. Sometimes when I see some of these things happen, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for the simple fact that we didn't seen ignorance our whole life. But I'm embarrassed because when I see us getting very comfortable with partaking in it, just because others do it don't mean that you got to do it. And at the end of the day, it just never turns out, um, the way that it should be. And when I see people that look like me in these positions, I know they've worked hard to get there. And we really have to be very mindful and responsible when we are in those, uh, situations and positions, just like that young lady I spoke about that's also down there in Georgia, that she got removed for 7 years because the probate judge, she was acting a plumb fool. And it was just I ain't seen nothing like that either. She was greedy and arrogant, and she didn't even she lacked common sense, in my opinion. But I between her and Glanville, I knew she was gonna be removed. Because at the end of the day, they only gonna let you go so far. I don't care what nobody say. It is what it is. We have to quit being so arrogant to believe that we have gotten a lot farther than where we are. I mean, we see it right now every day. We still got a long way to go. And you need to really protect and honor being in these positions of authority, and that have responsibility over other people. Yes, hold your position and remember who you. Yeah, listen, I think a lot of them. I'm gonna be honest. I think a lot of us have forgotten who we are. I really do. Um, I see so many people out here, and I'm really concerned about these young people on the internet because so many of them are carbon copies of each other. They have somebody, the way their mannerism and the way they talk, which is not natural. It's like you have studied other people. Everybody has studied each other, and the way they say words, the way that they gesture. If you pay attention, ain't none of it's natural, but everybody trying to mimic each other, the way they speak, the way they wear their hair. Just it's all these carbon unauthentic copies of each other. And it's not, and they don't understand that it's not a healthy thing. The best any of us can ever offer society is our authentic selves. And it's just a reflection of where we are, emotionally, um, across the whole world. For real, it's so much sickness, and I don't care what nobody say. With this political arena, we just haven't seen nothing yet, and I think it's a shame. I'm concerned because it's not enough people that are emotionally healthy, if you will. Pepsi said, "That's so true. I always tell the youth that surrounds me to be you. Why won't why want to be a copy of exactly of someone else? They already taken." And that's the thing. I have no desire to be anybody but me. It's enough work to be myself. I don't I don't need the stress of trying to pick up somebody else's stressors or personalities. I mean, is it natural to have admiration or certain things about people that you admire or like, or that inspires you? That's life. But what I'm seeing today is people are just altering themselves totally. I mean, and they're so impressionable that that's why this internet is so dangerous, because they get on this internet and all it takes is two to agree, and it'll spread like wildfire. Right, I am who I am. Like, exactly. And as we know, as adults, and as we continuously grow and gain wisdom in this life, everybody ain't gonna like you. And guess what? That's all right, because I don't like everybody. I don't run around here holding grudges, because that take too much time and energy, and I know what that do to you personally. But I ain't for everybody, and I'm okay with that. Shoot, I ain't even for everybody in my family. So the rest of the world can forget it. You know, people want so much of everything that they'll lose out on most things. And I was talking to somebody recently, just about like what's going on with the younger people, and in just what's going on in general. And not enough of us, so I feel, and I have seen, that are focused on what's really going on around us. I mean, most people don't even know what Project 2025 is. Um, and what's before us, what is actually going on in this country, and what will go on, as more of the division happens. I don't think people even recognizing that I mean, the divide between races is huge, and it is a concerning thing. And people acting like, it don't impact them. And the reality is, they better start paying attention, because you don't want to pay attention when it's right there in your face, to the point to where you bumping noses with it. It's in our faces now. But I just think we ain't seen nothing yet. And these young people, they walking around just shells. You know, they have normalized this very unhealthy behavior. I was watching this young girl yesterday. I came across her. Somebody else had mentioned her, so I looked her up. She needed a place, so she went on TikTok and raised $2,600 in 30 something minutes for the down payment on her place, because she was getting evicted from another one. And then some people got mad, figured out where she was moving to, called the people, and they revoked her new lease, because they said it was illegal to beg for money on on TikTok. And then she came back a couple more days and said she needed 5,000 in 30 minutes. Like, and they for real. They don't feel like they have to work. That it's easier to just come out here and ask for money, and why hate on them if somebody gonna give it to them? I think it just it breeds an unrealistic expectation in a way of living, and it's just becoming more and more common, and it just don't seem like anybody's listening. But yeah, that judge, he really he baffled me the first time I came across him. You know, he he was a first. Let me see what it says. This is what it says. Um, it says the decision by Judge Rachel Cross came after she denied another motion seeking her own recusal from the recusal matter, because Judge Glanville made a $2,000 donation for her recent reelection campaign. All this quid pro quo going on. And I mean, if anybody ever worked in corporate America, you know what quid pro quo is: favor for a favor. You can't be giving donations, big or small. And then and y'all in the same affiliation, where both or one of y'all can benefit. That's against the law. Quid pro quo is against the law. It says, in her order, Judge Cross stated, this court has no doubt that Judge Glanville can and will continue presiding fairly over this matter if the recusal motions were denied, but the necessity of preserving the public's confidence in the judicial system weighs in favor of excusing Judge Glanville from further handling of this case. And I agree with that, but I also agree with if it is good enough for him, it's good enough for Trump. Trump should not be in an election. The whole system is jacked up. And I also think after this round, there needs to be a cap on age. I don't think personally you should, if you over 65, you should not be the president of the United States, period. It says attorneys for Young Thug had argued Judge Glanville should no longer oversee the case because of a June 10th proceeding known as an ex parte meeting that became the subject of deep contention in the trial. The controversial private meeting at which Judge Glanville, prosecutors, and a witness were present without defense attorneys involved led to Young Thug's attorney, Brian Steele, which I got respect for that young man, Young Thug's attorney, because he stood his ground. Says Young Thug's attorney Brian Steele being held in contempt and sentenced to a 20-day jail sentence, which has been reversed after the state Supreme Court granted him bond. And that's what the beginning was. You know, they had that private meeting, which is shady. You can't have meetings when you, number one, when you're dealing with somebody's life. All parties need to be present. That's automatic. And when the defense attorney finds out about it, he asks Judge Glanville, you know, about that meeting. Glanville want to know, well, where you heard it from. And the defense attorney said, you know, he's exercising his client attorney privilege or whatever, you know, to not share the information. So he wanted to be arrogant and sentence him to jail, which it got reversed. But that was the most idiotic move you could do. Again, ego and arrogancy will get you in trouble every time. And that's a shame. But I'm glad they removed him. He needs to be removed, and Trump need to be removed. Well, everybody, but it's kind of late for that. But Trump shouldn't be, you know, in the runnings anyway. All these felons we got around here and their lives have been turned upside down. And you mean a lot of these people can't get a job at a basic company, but you can be the president? And then you got all of us running around not paying attention. You know, Obama could have never. Yes, that was a big mess up right there. Still held his own with it. Yeah, he did. And I think and he was going after Steele. And but you know what? I saw so I originally saw the arrogance in Glanville when that was going down. And then once Steele started filing the motions and, you know, and making Glanville have to answer to the motions. See, Glanville wasn't as thorough as he should have been. I started, and then other people that he was starting to deal with, I saw his demeanor and the way he handled people change. He humbled himself quicker, which it never even should have got there anyway. But it seems to me, and I could be wrong, but it seemed like these rapper individuals, they see, I mean, what, every couple months you got one on trial for a murder case. That's like you know, a common theme. And I forget who I was talking to about that. Who was we talking? We was talking about somebody. Oh, we was talking about the young guy, Dirk's buddy, Lil Durk, the rapper out of Chicago, his buddy, King Von, the one that got unalived in Atlanta in 2020, I believe. He, you know, grew up in the you know, the slums, but he ended up getting all that money, and then he couldn't separate himself. You make all that money, but you can't separate yourself from that street life. He had enough money to walk away, but he used that money to fund the street life because it's mentally, you know, conditioned that way. People don't realize, you know, it's a disease. It's a way of life. You gotta, you know, go through some real therapy and support to really change yourself around. You know, a lot. That's why a lot of these guys we see in on trial now because they can't just walk away. It's a life. It's a lifestyle. It's a condition, and we want to normalize these things, and it's just not the right thing to do. What you say? Yes, ma'am. Trump needs. Yeah, he need to be gone. They can't vote, but he can run for president. Yeah, listen, that's crazy, and I'm also very agitated at people. So we already know it's so late in this run that Kennedy shouldn't even he can't even speak. Anybody that tries to get or say that they are supporting him, in my eyes, are supporting Trump. Uh, it's a lot of people that don't realize, you know, they and so what I have learned, people will vote against themselves if it means for a black person to be suppressed, so I believe. But they are voting against themselves. They want to make this about a race, and it's really not. It's about people and character. Because if Trump get back in, everybody gonna pay. I don't care what color you are, and that's gonna happen if he get back in. But I said the day that that man lost that election, I said if they don't put something in place to make sure he never run again, he gonna run again because he too stupid and arrogant not to. And here we are. I said and he got a good chance to get back in, and here we are. But them going off the music they're making is getting them these charges. I think they and correct me if I'm wrong, Pepsi. They tell everything they do in their songs. Like somebody's foolish and don't know, like, you know, they want to say, oh, it's just song. No, your song puts the puzzle, all the pieces of the puzzle together on these crimes or these unalivings that we have seen in whatever areas they live in. They got it set up with the hope of us falling, and that's it. Yeah, failing. Anybody that's supporting him speaks for it. Speaks. It says everything I need to know. And I'm just more I'm so baffled by us. I was talking to a friend the other day, and he had a childhood friend, spent his whole adulthood in incarcerated 30 years, and he was one of those troubled people, so he didn't like go in, you know, and bond out early. He did every second and minute of his time, you know, and there came out as strange as he wanted to be. He only been out maybe a year or so, but long story, maybe a couple years. He did 30 years. He ain't been out no more than 2 years. I gave him no more than 2 years. And he said that he was talking to him the other day, and the ex prisoner inmate said, well, at least when Trump was in office, we got some stimulus money. And he said he was just taken back, like, do you understand what you saying? I said, no. I said, some people, you know, don't like, they don't connect the dots. They all they see is somebody gave them they got a couple dollars, and you know, they think they benefited. Like that's like you really are out here betting against yourself. Not just black people, white people too. Because there's a certain kind of white people that he is affiliated with. He don't like poor white trash no more than he don't like black people or foreigners. But you can't tell him that. No, you don't care about anybody. And I've never seen nobody get away with so much wrongdoing. I came across whoever that lady was that sued him, and she ended up disappearing when she was 13. She was going to those Epstein parties, thinking, well, a girl was taking her because she thought she was going to help her be a model, and Trump was one of the people there, and she was very, and they blurred out her face, but it was a 3-part interview with the young lady, and you could tell she was not herself, like she was disturbed, but she was 13, and he took her virginity, and she said dealing with him everything. He was a germaphobe. Like if she gave him a blowjob, he had to have a condom. If he wanted her to give him a hand job, you had to wear gloves. It was too much detail there, and that girl was 13. And this man has ran the country. And then you got these arrogant people want to talk about Biden, all that. No, it tells me, like you said, it tells me everything I need to know about you. And me being a woman, it's just like they are so afraid of anybody else getting a hand that they will and that race thing, they'll put a pedophile, the biggest liar in the world, in position just to suppress everybody else, and it's sad. Yes, they tell what they do as well as the people around them. Exactly. I was talking to my mother earlier, and she was saying, like she couldn't believe. I said, I've been telling you since Biden took office that they don't put something in place that this man, we're gonna have to possibly deal with this again. I said, and here we are. I knew it because racism and that divide is so strong. And I felt it so strong when he was in office. I said, it's too thick. If they don't put something in place, we're gonna deal with this again. And that's what he is breeding. It's terrible. And it's terrible that people are really, so many people are really like him. And I get disgusted with us because we focus on, everything but what's important. It's almost like sit back and brace yourself, because here we go. And I'm really concerned with that. And I definitely think at some point, these all these people that's been in these positions in Washington, just been there far too long. It's time for all of them to go. Anybody 60 and above that need to go. To just give other people and that don't uh pass a mental evaluation properly, because a lot of these people are unstable, and we can feel it every day. The US is unstable. It was very unstable when Trump was in office, but I just can't imagine what round 2 would look like. Round 1 was a doozy. Round 2 is just, I was telling my mother, I said, he get it, God forbid he get around 2, he gonna take this country down a dark hole that we just ain't gonna a darker hole. It's already been a dark hole, a deeper dark hole that I just don't feel we will recover from. It's gonna be one of those no point of return. And that's the truth. I've just be coming across so many stories lately that just really throws me off. I did one about that young boy that was 60-year-old boy. He was transitioning to a girl, um, something Rose, I think his name was Janice Rose or something. He unalived his mother and her boyfriend. He was upset that the mother didn't agree with him transitioning into a girl, and he was very upset that his mother, who was 40, 41 years old, was dating a 22-year-old man. So when they came back from a date, or out together, he told them welcome home and unalived both of them, and then called the authorities and said that there was a intruder in the house and he was hiding in the closet or whatever. And after the police put it together, this was in Florida last week. Um, he admitted, that he unalived the mother and then the boyfriend because she wasn't supportive of him transitioning and for dating a young man. It's a lot, the reality is it's a lot of people from small children to older adults that are emotionally suffering, far too many. And we trying to normalize all this unhealthiness, and it's not to any of our benefit. I'm not going to sit here and normalize it because it's not normal. I'm actually having a learning curve. I came across my own TikTok. This young man, he's fully transitioned. He spent 8 years locked up, and he just went viral about a week or two ago. Not even 2 weeks, I don't think. He's dressed like a woman, and he tells all the stories of like what really is going on behind bars in them prisons, but from the perspective of the guys that are, the women in there, if you will, the transgender. And it's been an educational moment, and it goes back to the things that I constantly be saying about these women that want to get with these guys as soon as they you know are no longer incarcerated, thinking they just gonna have these normal happily ever after lives. And a lot of these guys are traumatized. A lot of these guys have been assaulted, physically and essayed, and they're conditioned and accustomed to coming out and not talking about it. And then when they flip out, people, act like, well, I would have never known. I don't know why. Why, if somebody did 10 years, why do you think they just, they come out and they just like the rest of us? It don't work that way. They try, they pretend, but pretending is a dangerous thing. I don't know, y'all. But I'll tell you what, when you have gotten as far as some of these people have gotten, school and just a level of success, and then you wilding out, that's another example of your mental health ain't, it ain't stable. And we just trying to normalize it until these people crash out. I wish I knew how to add to project some of those videos. I think you got to have a software. I haven't figured that out yet. But anyway, that's all I was talking about, y'all. When I heard about Glanville got removed, I knew I wasn't the only one that saw what I saw and was just waiting on him to be yanked from the case. And that's another thing. Opportunities don't always come, and you have to be prepared and ready when they do. That's a high profile case. You should be on your A game, so I believe. And if you ain't on your A game, then shame on you. I know if I was in that position, I'd still be in it because I would be on my A game. But people get so comfortable and so careless. And then as soon as they get addressed, then they want to, holler foul play. And that's just, Anyway, that's all I got. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me. I'll be back again when I find something else I want to talk about. Enjoy your night. Be blessed, my friends.